Okay, so today we're going to be making this crop circle sea turtle. So I'm going to teach you how to make it. You are going to need, just tilted something. You're going to need your compass, a pencil, a ruler, and a Sharpie. I chose green just in the nature of sea turtle, but it doesn't really matter what color you use. It's just to help you figure out what you're doing when there's so many lines. So you're going to start by drawing a pretty big circle in the center of your page. So the one I just did was kind of small. Because the circle needs a nice big shell, and it's a little bit easier to draw the different lines when you have, the bigger the shell. Oh, and by the way, you're going to want to have your paper vertical because it just helps you with space. Okay, so once you have your circle, you're going to draw a line through the center. So you can kind of still see the dot where the sticky thing went, but I always like to just make an extra dot there just in case I can no longer see it for some reason. Okay, so make a line through the center of your circle. Make sure everything's kind of tilted up right. Okay, and then you're going to make a perpendicular bisector so that there's another line. So let's do it. I'm just going to apologize in advance for the time it might take for this video, but it's worth it because you can make a really cute sea turtle. Okay, so next you're going to take your ruler or whatever straight edge you use, and you're going to make the line through the line. And I kind of messed up there, so there's my dot, there's my center, and there's that dot. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you want it to be pretty exact in this construction because you need pretty exact lines for what we're going to do. Okay, so next, just for in the future, you're just going to draw like a line that's basically like a ray up the kind of side of your circle, because that's going to help you later in the crop circle creation. Okay, so it's like that. So right now it looks like this. Okay, so now you're going to make two more perpendicular bisectors in between the main lines. So here is one. And two. And here's the second line. Come on. Okay, so now that you have those three lines, you just have to make sure that they're all like parallel. And then you're going to flip your paper horizontally because you're going to make two more perpendicular bisectors. Okay, so you see how you have these three lines on both sides going down? You're going to bisect all three of those lines at once, so it will kind of be like that. Sorry, my dog just dropped his bone. Alright, so now you're going to bisect those lines. And then once we're done with that, we're going to kind of just erase the bisection, like the lines, like the arcs that you use to make the different constructions, because if you have them all there, it might confuse you later in the creation. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it just perfect. Okay. Make this last line, and you're going to want to make these two lines come all the way to these little edge lines, just because it'll help you later in the construction. Okay, make sure they're totally straight. Perfect, and I have to continue that line. Okay, family. Okay. So it looks like that. So just like that. It kind of looks a little bit off, but it's really not. Once you get going, it'll work out just fine. Okay. So now turn it back to being vertical. Okay. So now it looks like this. It's kind of like a little grid. And we're about to do some angle bisectors, which will get you kind of like the diamond shapes on these hexagons on the turtle, and it'll make this kind of little square area. So this picture right here is kind of where we're heading. Okay, so you're going to take your compass and you're going to angle bisectors. So you're going to come up one from this little corner here and make the angle bisector on this angle right there. And a way to check to make sure your line is straight, it should be able to trace through all of the squares going up. And if you do it just right, it will be able to help you later in the construction. Okay, so you have that line, and you're going to make another one right here. And we're about halfway through the sea turtle construction. Make sure we have the space. Make sure we have it. Okay, so this line, again, line it up all the way up through different squares, and make sure your line just touches the edges of the, oops, see, I did that wrong. Oop. Okay, and make sure it just touches the edges of the circle. And you're just going to erase my mistake lines. Okay. So now your paper basically looks like this, like there's a big X going through your circle. Now the next part of the diamonds, you're going to have to make two more angle bisectors. So you're going to come to the left of this one and to the right of this one. And you're going to make two angle bisectors on those angles. Okay. 1 second, sorry. Oops. Okay. So there, and now you're starting to see like a couple of the parts of the diamond, and you're going to have another one there, and another one there, and two more here. So it'll basically be one giant square in the middle of the circle. And then from there, we can construct the hexagons. this is kind of a long video, just I haven't quite figured out the technology that speeds videos up. Okay, so there you can see one of the diamonds now, and now we're going to flip the paper upside down so you can make the other diamonds. You are now going to come to the edges, see where these lines are. The next angle bisectors are going to be there because there's not really the correct spaces in the circle to make the diamond just right. And all those sounds in the background are my dog, Fenway. So sorry about that. Oops. Wait, did I do it right? And okay, sorry, that one was wrong. Oops. Rewind, blah, blah, blah. You're actually going to keep it right side up and make the angle bisector still on that same edge square, but other way around. Theoretically, if you wanted to, you could do it that other way, and it would just be getting you these sides that are already here, which you don't really need. Okay, so again, just cut pretty straight through and try and come up to this edge of the circle right here. Okay, and make your line, and one more right here, and then we will be moving on to constructing the hexagons, which shouldn't take too long. Okay. So there you go. You have that basically small square split into a bunch of different little diamonds in the middle there. And you can kind of see the faint outlines of the circle, which we'll go over again in Sharpie when we're done. Okay. So next thing we are going to do is we're going to basically cut edges in so that you can really see the kind of hexagons. Okay, oops, sorry for that wobble. We are going to we're going to bisect any of these little short lines here, and it'll cut through and make like little edge diamonds like right along there. So yeah. I didn't make that big enough. La la la. Let's try this again. Okay. So again, have it cut all the way through down your circle. And I'll outline what we just did with Sharpie in a second. And right here. Okay, So you have all of these single lines, but then I see that this one didn't go completely straight. Let me just fix that. Oh. Okie doke. So that's what it looks like right now. And I know it looks kind of confusing, but here we go, and I'll show you what we just did. And so I'm taking my Sharpie, and I'm going to just outline these little hexagons here. You take okay, so now we have 2 of our hexagons done, and we have 2 more, and then we are just making the head and the fins. Cool, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the paper so that it is horizontal like this, so we can make the next 2 diamonds, which should be easy because we only have to do those little line bisectors again. So this time I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to make my arcs. Do that. And then come over here and do that. And there you go. Okay, and now we'll outline those hexagons. And they go right down the middle. And this. Sorry if the video's kind of gotten darker as it's gotten darker outside. Okay, so now it looks like that, kind of like a cross, but not really. The last step we're going to take is, as you can see, you can still kind of see that faint last part of the circle. You're going to connect the edge of that there to the edge of here. So where like the 2 points at that hexagon meet, right there and right there, to the edge of the circle where the circle intersects with this line right here. So there's that. And then same thing here, here to here. And there you go. Right here, there to here. Sorry for the wobbling. Where did it go? Here. We are nearing the end of our video. Sorry for all of the time. Here to there. Here to here. And here to here. We'll outline those once we're done with the head and the other fins. Okay, so it looks like that now. So you have all of these little lines coming off. Wait, oh, never mind. One more. Here to here and here to here. I did that one wrong. It's here to here. now we have all those little lines. Okay, and so now the paper is back to being vertical, and it is time for the head and fins. So for the head, you're going to kind of duplicate the length that is from this part to this part, like that. And you're going to come up to see where these lines intersect the circle. You're going to come up to there. You're going to come down and bring it up like that. So kind of like a little baby arc. And then same thing up here. And it should go right down there. Okay, so if you look at any actual pictures of sea turtles, their heads are kind of pointed, so that's why we do that. And for the other parts, you're just going to basically use that same look. Actually, no, we're not. Okay, so for the other part, you're going to come from like this line to here, and you're going to measure like that length. So from the line to there, you're going to duplicate that length with your compass. Then you're going to come to where the vertex of this hexagon comes to the edge of the circle, and you're going to make a half circle all the way back to the edge of the circle. So it looks like that. And then over here on this one. And down over here, you're going to do it where that part of the hexagon meets the edge of that part of the circle. Oops. And same thing over here, so this part comes down and that part comes down and then. And so that's basically your turtle, and now I'll just outline and then it's all done. Then outline the head, outline the fins, okay, so there's your turtle, and you can make the little eyes at the front. So that would be your turtle. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the long video, but yeah. Thanks, bye.